Do you guys like charcuterie boards?
Personally, I love a charcuterie board. And with the holidays in full swing, you guys are probably entertaining uh, a limited amount of guests with the making all. But even when it is not the holidays, it makes for a great snack, and it also is a beautiful presentation, a beautiful platter that you can use to hold over your guests while you're finishing up cooking. But no charcuterie board is complete without a proper cheese knife. So today we're going to be taking a look at this beautiful handmade cheese knife by Matt Vogt Custom Blades. Our quick disclaimer, Matt did send this knife to me completely free of charge, so thank you, Matt, so much for your generosity. Funny story is Matt's actually one of the subscribers of our channel, and when he found out that we didn't live very far from one another, he reached out to me on IG and said, hey, you're only a few towns over from me out in Eureka, Kansas, which is really cool that we're actually neighbors. And he started sharing his knife making journey with me, started sharing a lot of his knowledge and experience in knife making because me myself is trying to get started in knife making. And he asked me a really odd question. He says, Raph, do you like cheese? And I thought that was such an odd question. I thought it was kind of like a loaded question, honestly. At first, I'm just like, this guy's gonna try to pull a joke on me. But no, he's just like, hey, I'm making these cheese knives, these custom cheese knives. Would you like one? And when I offered to pay Matt for it, and he's just like, no, he's just like, I'm just going to give you one. Don't worry about it. And so to, I guess, return the favor, I sent him one of my hoodies. And I also wanted to make a video for him to showcase this beautiful work that he does. So Matt does, of course, custom kitchen cutlery, like this cheese knife here. He also does EDC knives. So if you guys have an EDC that you carry and you want a custom one, Matt can hook you up. He does work knives and also he does hunting knives. So go check out his work. Down here, I'm going to link his IG below. It is at Matt Vogt Custom Blades. So definitely go check him out. And within the package, he included one of his stickers. This is actually going on my belt grinder, so thank you, Matt. And there is this hanging tag, which is a really cool idea. One side has his logo on it, and the other side have care instructions. It says, wash with warm soapy water and fully dry, like you should with all the knives. Uh, it is always a good habit to just dry your knives off, even when you're mid-use. Okay, and then he also hooked me up with a couple of his business cards, which I will be sharing with a few of my friends. So thank you, Matt, for sending all this stuff over. Right now, we're gonna go grab some stuff, put together a simple charcuterie tray, and I'm gonna test the knife out and also talk a little bit about the specs on it. Now, before we get started putting together this charcuterie board, I want to talk a little bit about Matt's knife right here. So a lot of Matt's knives that he makes it out of RWL34 steel. And RWL34, if you guys have been following me for a while, you guys know this is one of my favorite steels. It is also the same steel that Kangshan Cutlery, the Thomas Keller line that they have. All of their knives in the Thomas Keller line is made out of RWL34 steel. It is a Swedish powder steel, and it takes a wicked edge. It takes a very fine edge, but because it is a powdered steel, it also doesn't have a lot of the downfalls of more finer grained steel. Like it doesn't chip as easily, it's more chip resistant, it is more durable, and it holds a fantastic edge. As you guys have seen on the Kanshan cutlery knives, they are fantastic. I love them. So when I heard that this is made out of RWL34, I got really excited. So as you can see here, it's got this beautiful satin finish on this knife. It has this very unique shape to it. It almost looks like a fusion between a hunting knife or a work knife and also a cheese, like a small cheese cleaver. And what's really cool about this is not only is the bottom sharpened, the tip of it is also sharpened. So you can kind of double this as a cheese chisel as well. So the design is really cool. This handle right here, I am drooling over this handle. He made this handle out of Buckeye burl, and it also has his signature Matt Vogt pin in it. This big pin right in the middle right here, and also held together by two more brass pins on both sides. And the fit and finish of this knife is really nice. I mean, this is what you would expect to get. It is very straight. So for this to be hand ground or hand grind, I mean, look how gradual that grind is on this knife. It is so well done. So a big hats off to you, Matt. Like, this is beautiful work. Man, like, I'm just sitting here marveling over this knife. As soon as I opened the package, guys, My wife looked at it and she says, "I'm claiming it. That's mine now." And I'm just like, I haven't even taken it out of the package yet. As soon as she saw it, before I even picked it up, she says, "That's mine." And happy wife, happy life. It's her knife now. So, Matt, thank you so much. My wife loves the knife. So let's go ahead and put together this charcuterie board. Now, before we even get started on the charcuterie board, as you guys can see, you guys love a paper test. Look at that. A rolled up paper test, and it cuts clean right through it. So it's very, very sharp. Now let's go ahead and put together this tray. You know what? Let's go ahead and hold off on the meat. Let's go ahead and start with the cheese first. This is one of my first times putting together like a charcuterie board, because most of the time the stuff, as soon as it gets cut, it goes straight in my mouth. Like, it never gets to the board. So we will see how this goes. So this is a Transylvanian hard cheese right here. This is Aldi's, and I gotta tell you, this Transylvanian hard cheese is so freaking good. It's very flavorful, and I love hard cheeses. As you can see here, I'm using the tip of it to kind of break it apart. Okay, there's that. A block of brie here. Let's move this aside. I gotta tell you, this edge geometry is fantastic. Like, it slices through this cheese like butter. Knife cuts very, very nicely. A lot of times, people don't just use their cheese knives for their cheese. They also use it for their charcuterie, like their cured meats. As you can see here. Look at that, guys. Can you guys see that clearly? I mean, look how easily that's sliced through. Alright, as you guys can see, this knife performed flawlessly. Alright, as you guys can see, this knife performed flawlessly, being such a thin blade. And it also doesn't have a lot of flex on it. So I'd say this knife is probably in the 60s range, as well as Rockwell hardness range. And it cuts through that cheese like butter. I mean, it's just, you know when people say, oh, a knife is like a laser? I mean, this thing cuts like a laser. You know, it just goes through that cheese like butter. And the more I use it as I'm cutting, the more I'm impressed by the design of the knife. Just the utilitarian design. It is such a usable knife. With the extra thickness of this handle, it gives it such leverage and comfort that, I mean, I would love to use this knife all the time, like throughout prep. This probably is not going to end up just as a cheese knife. I'll probably be using this knife for a lot of other things. So that probably says quite a bit about this knife. And then another thing that I'm super impressed by is this blade profile. Okay, as I'm cutting this cured meat, as I'm making the first cut, I'm thinking, man, I'm gonna have to, go through a second cut to cut this through, and I'm at this angle. Okay? And guess what? This part of the knife is now flat against the cutting board. And guess what? This part's sharpened. So all I have to do is drag that through, and it makes a clean cut. So I don't have to go back for a second cut. What I'm trying to say is that the design of this knife, it's so smart and it's so well thought out. So big hats off to you, Matt. I mean, this is a brilliant design. So for those of you guys who are looking for a holiday gift, last minute holiday gift, or trying to get someone something nice, get yourself something nice, I think this cheese knife will make a great addition as a holiday gift, especially for someone that likes cheese, like charcuterie boards, like entertaining. I mean, you don't really want just like some old crusty knife on your charcuterie board, right? I mean, you want something really presentable, really nice like this, and it can also be a conversation starter as well. it doesn't just stop there. If you guys are looking for a nice EDC, a nice hunting knife, other kitchen cutlery, or work knife, Matt does all of that. So definitely go check all of his work out on his page, on his IG page. He makes some really, really nice stuff, and he makes some really, really beautiful Damascus knives too. Thank you, Matt, again so much for sending this over. This wraps up the video for the week. If you guys like this video, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It would mean the world to me. Help me support all of this madness, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.